Genesis chapter 1.
Ain't nobody in here yet. Man, I'm trying to wait till at least one person come in so I can. Oh, there's one person. I wanted to wait before I started the book. Like, ain't nobody in here yet. But I had made a schedule one, but that shit didn't work on my phone because I did it on my computer, and I'm not trying to go live on my computer. So I'd rather go live on my phone. It's more convenient and easier, and my camera is way more clear. So I need to delete that one, but first I need to do something. Why when I first clicked on the Bible and I pressed search right, first thing that damn near popped up it was the Satanic Bible. I'm like, I should play this bitch and why people thinking they gonna hear Genesis chapter 1. And then God created it like, but I'm like, I ain't gonna do that shit. Would have been funny though. I know people close minded though. They don't want to hear no shit like that. They're like, nah, that's the devil. You meet you on there and you just before the book before you even read and see what it said. Me, I'm that curious person. I want to see what that shit say. And I'm follow this shit. I'm just curious like that. That's literally how I always did. If somebody said don't do it, I'm like, why? That's how I bump my head a lot in life too. I'm trying to be curious. Shit kind of got me stuck in a rut before, but managed to get out of it, learned my lessons. So as long as I ain't repeating those things, good. But make sure you get this video a thumbs up. I would really. All right, y'all ready? Or you ready? Because I only see one person. So is you ready? You know, just hit that like button if you're ready. But you might be watching it from the TV, so you probably can't hit the like button. So we'll just take it as you ready. You're still here.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
You see me well. Well, as soon as I play the Bible, my shit starts. Like, what the fuck is that? With that? Is that, are you smoking weed? Yes. This is not your average Bible read. So, Texas 1977, you probably new to my channel. You probably was expecting some a religious thing to happen, but this is not one of those. I'm reading it not to disrespect it, talk down on the Bible. I just want to get a better understanding. So hopefully my stuff don't start tripping. Let me see something. But let me know if you can hear me. Alright, I think I'm good.
Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said,
"Let there be light."
And there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said,
"Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters."
And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said,
"Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear."
And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said,
"Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth."
And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said,
"Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth."
And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said,
"Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven."
And God created whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying,
"Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth."
And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said,
"Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind."
And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said,
"Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth."
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them,
"Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and
So
subdue
it's
it,
saying
and have
before he
dominion
made
over the fish of the..."
It said before he made Adam and Eve, he had already created men and women. So, well, he just didn't put them in the Garden of Eden. And where was they at? Like when he created man and women.
sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
And God said,
Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth,
He gave us
and every tree,
weed.
in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life. I have given every green herb for meat.
and it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
Ain't it crazy how
Chapter
Earth,
2.
no matter what, Earth is here to corrupt you. Like, cause it started off, God, whatever he made, he was like, yeah, I'm cool with this. But once humans got here, this shit started going to hell. Like, how could, not talking down on God, but how could you create something thinking it was the perfect thing, but then it evolved to what we got going on today? Like, did he know that was going to happen? Did he expect that to happen? And if so, like, why would you create a hell, like, to burn people eternally? Like, when you knew they was going to do that. Like, so, I got a lot of questions, but I'm going to let the Bible go, so.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into four heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There is Delim, and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria.
He is in Africa.
And the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Lord God took the man, and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying,
Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die.
And the Lord God said,
It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him.
And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field, and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmate for him.
Have you noticed when God gave Adam the job of naming everything, and the first thing that came to Adam's mind is what he named the animal? He wasn't second guessing himself. Like, he was literally was the first thing that come to my mind when God had given me a task or asking me a question. What are you going to name these animals? You're supposed to go off your first mind. You're never supposed to second guess yourself. Only when you start second guessing yourself is when your first mind is wrong. Because then, like, obviously, you're not going with it. So, but in the before he created Adam, it said he created man and females. And he scattered them across the world. But he also was naming different rivers, and it was Ethiopia is in Africa. Like, so, in the Euphrates River. I'm not 100% sure where that is, but I'm pretty sure it's like in Africa or somewhere over there. Like so, you can fact check me if you want. I'm not too for sure, but it says in the book the Bible we read. I don't know if this is the King James. Yeah, this says this the King James version. So I don't know why I always took it that Adam and Eve was the first man and woman, but learned today that ain't true.
And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said,
This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be...
Like literally, because in the Bible, in this Bible, it says a couple verses before this, he said how God created men and women before he created Adam and Eve. Like so, when it mentioned females, it didn't say women, honestly. So when Adam named females women, it was because of his personal experience. So is Eve actually the only women and all other women females?
one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Chapter 3. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman,
Yea, hath God said.
Yo, this is fucked up already. Why is there a fucking serpent in the Garden of Eden where God placed this man? Like, he knew they was gonna get tempted by the devil. He knew all this shit was gonna happen. That's why he wanted to curse him. God knew what he was doing. That's why I had kind of issues growing up in church. I'm like, dang, why he do that? Why go like that?
Shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
And the woman said unto the serpent,
We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
And the serpent said unto the woman,
Ye shall not surely die. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes,
the devil didn't lie to her. Like, off the back, the devil didn't lie. He told her the truth. He said, you eat from this tree, you're going to be like God. Because they didn't know. There was no good and bad, so obviously, like, that's a bad thing that he's planting into her mindset. Because if it's all good at first, but once again, why is there a fucking serpent in this perfect place? Like, of course, the serpent is there because Adam already came across the serpent, so he ain't got no conversation when he named him. Like, the serpent just slithered on by. I don't know.
and a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam, and said unto him,
Where art thou?
And he said,
I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
And he said,
Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I command?
So God wanted them to be dumb, basically. He didn't want them to evolve to the consciousness of, like, even knowing they was naked or knowing right from wrong. Like, so, or did he want them to go through that? Did he want them to ever evolve into where we at today? Like, once again, these is questions that I will have and nobody will have the answer to it. Like, even still to this day. Well, now I don't look at this as, like, the guidance of my whole life. And I don't, the Bible is just one book. like I done read other books too, so that made way more sense and it gave me way more guidance as well. But this book did have a huge impact on me, and this is one book I probably read more than any other book in my life. So
Thee that thou shouldest not eat?
And the man said,
The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
And the Lord God said unto the woman,
What is this that thou hast done?
And the woman said,
The serpent beguiled me, and I
they
did
just
eat.
blaming
And
each
the Lord
other.
God said unto the serpent,
Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days
Yo,
of thy
I'm
life.
getting like,
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her
let it
seed.
go. Let it
It
go.
shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Unto the woman he said,
I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
And unto Adam he said,
Because thou
Yo,
hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife.
it's saying like, to the woman, your man is supposed to rule over you. I never believed that. Like, probably because I grew up in a household where there was only it was two women raising me, so I didn't see no man having no authority over no women at all. So, but I do realize how some Israelites I know, like evil Israelites, they do like feel like they rule over their woman. So I'm not against them because if they say it's in the Bible and this is what they believe in, like, hey, that's by all means. But like I said, the Bible is something that I'm interested in learning more. I'm not interested in following. Like I'm not about to be no Christian. I'm not about to get converted by listening to this book. I just want it for the information, the knowledge, and I truly want to like know what it's saying. Uh, I want to know what it truly means. Like using my highest intuition and my highest self. Like, so off the back, I feel like God knew they was gonna make that mistake. He knew what the snake was. Why he created the snake, I don't know. But why would you place these people knowing like they was gonna get tested, like knowing that was gonna happen. And then as soon as they messed up, you cursed them like for life. Bruh, one mistake, like dang, like I always felt like God was like a bully. Like that seemed like some bully stuff to me, low key. But at the same time, I was afraid to think those things because I'm like, I don't want to go to hell for feeling like this. But now I can think how I want to think. Like I'm not afraid to die, and go to hell. I know I'm living a righteous life, a positive life, and I know the thoughts that come up in my head, like shit, that don't come from me. Like so, I'm just speaking what's on my mind. You know, I ain't no telling where those thoughts came from. Like so.
And hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skins, and clothed them.
Question
And the Lord
is,
God said,
how did Adam feel after like God told like cast him out of Garden of Eden, like, and she made that big mistake? Like, how did he treat her afterwards? You know, he was cussing her ass out on a daily. Like, bitch, you got us working in this field. Yeah, I'm not to call Eve a bitch, but still, like, you just know he was thinking some negative thoughts towards his wife. Plus, look how the kids came out. So it had to be some negativity. Like,
The man is become as one of us,
still
to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of life, and eat, and live forever.
Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Chapter 4. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said,
I have gotten a man from the Lord.
And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain,
Why art thou wroth? And why is thy
So God stayed around them. Like, it wasn't like God departed from them. Like, he was always there, like, just watching over them struggle and, like, go through that bullshit as, like literally God was, like, experimenting with these two people, because he had already created men and females before he even created Adam and Eve. He told Adam, he gave Adam the job to name all the animals and all the other things. So the reason why he created Eve was because Adam was like, every animal got its mate. Then why don't I got mine? So hey, do y'all think Eve was Adam's karmic partner or twin flame? Or so, I mean, it had to be a soulmate. Karmic, because what she did, she fucked his life up. Like, so she had to be a karmic partner.
countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And the Lord said unto Cain,
Where is Abel thy brother?
And he said,
I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
And he said,
What hast thou done? The
You
voice
know
of thy
he
brother's blood
does.
crieth unto me for...
God is like a parent. I know my kids fuck up, but I've still asked them why you do that. I don't know. I mean, I knew your ass. Like, bruh, God knew the way mankind was doomed from the beginning. And he just been watching and like just saying, yep, y'all just digging yourself in a deeper hole. Like, it's crazy. And then like to know like he sent his son down here to save people and that didn't work either. Like, he created this, but yet it has gotten out of control where he can't even you can't even save these people down here. Like, but I understand this is just a book, like, and that shit ain't how it really goes. So just off the back, listening to the first couple of chapters in this book, I'm like, my perspective of how God was rolling is like being back then. I'm like, man, I wouldn't want you to be my parent, because you would have had me in some situations where you knew I was gonna fail and you gonna punish me to the fullest. Like, no, like, bruh, that's crazy. Glad I wasn't Adam or Eve.
ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
He was
When
just
thou
cursing
tillest the
everybody.
ground,
Like, you fuck up
it
us.
shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
And Cain said unto the Lord,
My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me.
And the Lord said unto
This
him,
nigga just speaking
Therefore,
negative in his life.
whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold.
And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him.
Bruh,
And Cain,
he kind of nah, I don't know. Yeah, Cain got fucked. Cain got fucked. He didn't choose to be born. He didn't choose to have a brother. But when he came to God and like offered him what he had to offer, God was like, "Yes, I." But when the little brother came and offered him what he offered, he was more joyful. But for was able to lose his life, like where Abel go? Like where Abel's spirit go? God didn't mention that in the Bible. Like it was just he dead. That's the end of it. And you curse it. Whoever harm you, they get karma sevenfold. That's what karma come in. Cain has. So one person harmed Cain, they got karma. Then that curse got attached to them, and that shit is fucking crazy.
Out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch.
When his wife
And he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad. And Irad begat Mehujael. And Mehujael begat Methusael. And Methusael begat Lamech. And Lamech.
Here's the thing. All these kids having kids. Where is these women coming from for they to be having kids? Is they sleeping with each other? Is this some incest type of shit going on? That's why the karma is so strong, because the curses is just generational curses. Like, it's not enough detail in the Bible for me to like take it and run with it. Like, yeah, this the one. Like off the back, it has a lot of holes in it for me. Like, just for my curious mind, I got a lot of questions. And if this is the book that's supposed to guide me, who's gonna answer these questions? Ain't nobody around alive to who wrote this. So how do I know this is the right book? Like, how do I know this is the one that's gonna get me to where I want to go in life? Like, that's just what I think now as a 31-year-old who has. I'm not reading the Bible to say this is wrong. You shouldn't read this. I'm listening to it to get my own understanding. So I'm about to roll this weed up. And anybody who's new to this chat, yes, I do smoke weed. This is not no average Bible study. Like, so you're gonna get something new. I'm pretty sure you didn't expect to get what you was about to get tonight, but nobody ever expects it.
Took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the
right
name
now,
of the
Brian.
other was
You already
Zillah.
know.
And Ada bare Jabal. He was the father.
And the fact that I know it's probably gonna be thousands of Christians who probably come watch this video like later down the line, make them like, he's a sinner with the way he thinking he's smoking. But joke's on you, because you're not supposed to judge. Who are you to judge? For he who has no sin, may he throw the first stone. Ain't that what it say? So I'm pretty sure it's a motherfucker who out here gonna try to judge me when they got some skeletons in the closet. That can definitely can be exposed from just trying to talk down on me. Like, I realize when somebody do me wrong, like I ain't gonna say I got the curse of Cain, but when people do me wrong, they karma be so bad. Like, it be so way worse than what they did me. So I'm like, I don't ever gotta harm nobody. I don't ever do nobody wrong, because I know how karma works. I want all my karma to be good karma. Like, so in the beginning, this whole setup, this was a setup. God was testing. Well, he wasn't even testing. He already knew what was gonna happen. So he just wanted to fuck these people's lives over. It said he created men and females before he created Adam and Eve. So it wasn't like he cursed the whole world. He cursed these people. They just have such a big impact on the world, I guess. So I don't know.
As dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Lamech said unto his wives,
Ada and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech. For I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold.
And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth.
For God
Said she,
hath appointed me another.
Seth is, or Set is a god in Egyptian mythology. So, in Egyptian mythology is way before the Bible. Like, it predates the Bible like 25,000 years. Like, so, I always, like I said, I always tend toward mythology more than I did religion. But I grew up in a household, so I didn't have no choice but to go to church every Sunday and read a book. I couldn't be just listening to, I mean, reading other books that could have expanded my mind to challenge my parents and what they believed in, because I'd have got my ass whooped. So now I'm an adult, and my Gigi, the one who I was scared passed away, and she's a spirit. Like, so who am I to be afraid of? So I'm gonna say what I want to say in this month. I'm gonna curse. Like, I ain't gonna do too much cursing, because I understand like just how some sensitive people are. But at the same time, this is my fucking channel. And I'm not, my curse words is I can't, like, I won't, certain other bad words that I won't say, because I ain't speaking no negativity on my channel. Like, the words I use are not meant to make nobody feel less than. Like, it's just like that's who I am. I was a Marine, so I was raised on cussing. My great grandma, my Gigi, they cussed at me all my life. Basically, well, I ain't gonna say all my life, but growing up, that's all I heard was like those type of comments. So I don't expect too many people to be sensitive about this, but at the same time, you know how people get, especially when they see this blunt get lit. What's the strain you smoking? I'm smoking Rascal OG, so that's Kush strain. Then I also got my damn, what that edible? I mean, I said edible. I got a vape around here somewhere that I was hitting on, but that must need to be charged some, so probably dropped it. I be losing. Oh, there it is. Got my vape. Got my Rascal OG. Yeah. I'm gonna stop. I can't. I ain't gonna tell you I'm gonna not be stopping this month, because I can't help it. It's just too much that I always had questions about in the Bible, but I never got to like, because if I did, like, I would have got looked at as I was a fucking sinner or something or whatever. But now I don't give a fuck. Like, for real. Hey, you like the background?
Seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew.
And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name
Hey,
Enos. Then
Seth,
began men.
Seth, or Set in the Egyptian mythologies, killed his brother. What's his name? Start with a. On the tip of my tongue. I don't know why I want to say Orion, but that's not it. That's not Orion. But what's his name? Fuck it. It's Horus' dad. What is Osiris? Osiris. Set. It's the Bible like 25,000 years, like I said.
To call upon the name of the Lord. Chapter 5.
But I do also understand how reincarnation works. So it could have been the same set. They just wasn't switching up names, because they doing the same shit. Like Horus, he has the same story as Jesus. He didn't have a father who was born, because Osiris was technically dead when he got ISIS. So it's a crazy story, but that's another, like, I've been tapped into a lot of stuff over the years, so I know a lot of stuff. I ain't gonna say I know a lot. I know enough about what I know. That's all I'm gonna say.
This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them,
God
and
should have
blessed
just
them, and
destroyed
called their
them.
name Adam, in the day.
Low key, when they fucked up the first time, God should said, "Oh, get rid of this one. I need somebody that's gonna do right. I need somebody that's gonna not let the snake tempt them." Like, he let them continue to live their life. Why he ain't start over? He could have. He created Adam that easy. Like, so, I don't know.
They were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. And the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died.
Why we can't
And
live that
Seth
long
lived
for that?
105
Not that I want
years
to
and
do.
begat Enos. And Seth lived after he begat Enos 807 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died.
Shout out to you for
And
showing
Enos
up.
lived 90 years and begat Canaan. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 815 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years and begat Mahalaleel. And Canaan lived after he begat Mahalaleel 840 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalaleel lived 65 years, and begat Jared. And Mahalaleel lived after he begat Jared 830 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the
Y'all don't mind if I skip past all these names, do y'all? Or do y'all want to go through it all?
days of Mahalaleel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begat Enoch. And Jared lived after he begat Enoch 800 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years, and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not. God took him. And Methuselah lived and...
See, that's where I want to read the book of Enoch. It's not in this Bible series, but it is on YouTube, so we will be able to listen to the book of Enoch. So he was always interesting to me because I don't think he died. He was took away to heaven. Like, and that's always how I wanted to go out. I wanted to be out this mother. Angels come get me with some chariots and shit. You know, so we definitely gonna do that. It might, I don't know. Since it's talking about Enoch now, we can listen to that after Genesis and then like continue with the other ones.
187 years, and begat Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years, and begat a son. And he called his name Noah, saying,
This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed.
And Lamech lived after he begat Noah.
You just mentioned the movie Noah. I've seen that like once, probably twice. You talking about the newer version, right? Well, it ain't new today, but it's kind of dope.
595 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old. And Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Chapter 6. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said,
My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years.
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men.
But why he say that? And who is he say is taking up the daughters? Because where the giants come in at? Why the Bible don't mention too much of where the giants come from? It's a lot of enemies that God has in this Bible, but he don't tell you why they enemies. He just said they the bad guys. I always wanted to know why they the bad guys. Like, what made them bad people?
And they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
That's why he cut their lives down, because he said giant about to be ruling this world for hundreds of years, like being in control. So he cut that down to 120. So I guess everybody can get a chance. But why? Like, at the end of the day, like, Well, why didn't you stop that at the beginning? You know, like when did it become a problem when angels was having babies with the humans? You knew that was gonna happen. Like once again, this is the creator we're talking about. The end all be all, knows everything. Like so, like I said, why did you get rid of Adam and Eve when they first messed up and created some new people who was gonna listen, and then they could have evolved and stayed in that. But once again, if they never ate from that tree, they would have never got gained consciousness. People say God wants people to live from their own free will. Show that truth. But this is when he first created Adam and Eve. They had no bad intentions. Like, and then even when Cain was born and he slayed Abel, like it was that was the first like quote unquote murder. Like he didn't know nothing about killing his brother. Like he was just went off like the first thing he that came to his mind. Like God had already cursed the family. Like so they had was already starting off on the wrong path. But God kept watching them stay close. Like so why didn't he just get rid of them and start over? Once again, he had already created other men and women in the other sections of the world, but my whole thing is he knew the serpent was gonna be there, and he knew they was gonna mess up. But the serpent didn't lie. He told them, if you wake up, you would know right from wrong. But even once again, there is no such thing as right from wrong. So, but overall, they did wake up to evolve. They was able to evolve out of just what God told them what it was. Like it was more than that. Like when God placed Adam, he gave Adam one job, and once Adam asked for a wife, like he didn't really give them no rules, like no real rules. Like beware of a snake that can try to deceive you. Like yeah, he probably told him don't eat from that tree, but he probably didn't go into deep details on why not to do that. And once again, every time you tell somebody don't do something, what do? They do it. So he knows this. He's dealt with Lucifer before this. Like so, once again, like these is questions I had as a kid just reading the Bible. So I'm just an adult now, and I don't got nobody to like try to judge me and say, hey, you shouldn't think those thoughts. Like I'm gonna do and say what I want. I think the serpent deceived him. The serpent did, but at the same time, why was the serpent still in the Garden of Eden? Like, and Adam had came across the serpent before because he had to name him, and God knew the serpent was hanging around. Like, but the Satan. I mean, I said Satan, the serpent, and he don't even call the certain Satan. Satan's. What's up, Tasha? Like, he don't even in the Bible. I don't know why I used to think like that. The serpent was Satan. You resisting the urge to start from the beginning. Hey, we only been here for what, like 50 minutes is kind of like a bit. But that, like, you know me, I've just been pausing and, like, we still in the first couple chapters. I mean, in the Bible, it don't say he's Satan yet. It just say the serpent. So, I don't want to prejudge and call Satan the serpent because that ain't what was said. So, now if it's in another Bible that said Lucifer was that serpent, then, like, by all means, then we can go on with that. But this is just reading. We listening to a King James version, so they probably didn't like edit it and like drama. You see hear how it's dramatized, so they probably cutting a few things out, but overall it's saying like the basis of what's in the Bible. So.
And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart.
Oh, so he was already like repenting. Like he had to repent. Who was he repenting to though? Like, of course, he's not saying he's repenting to anybody, but he was already like sad that he created these humans, and this is in the beginning. Yeah, they changed it up a bit. Like he should have just destroyed them, Adam and Eve, since they fucked up, and the serpent, and started right over. Like he's God. He created the earth in 7 days. So why wouldn't they fucked up? You like, okay, I can see it going the wrong way. and then just start over with somebody and create them to where they follow your rules. But then, like you said, there wouldn't be no free will. What's the point of being here? But at the same time, what's the point of having sin when you're gonna send people to hell right after? Why you gonna make somebody suffer for eternity off of one mistake from one? And like once again, like he said, he's kind of was mad, but it's like he hate this creation. He when I get from this right now, he hates what he created, what it's turned into. Because look how bad this earth is. If you look at the news, if you look at media, it's all negativity. So I'm pretty sure God don't want, or the God in this Bible. I'm not gonna say it's the true creator of all because I don't know, but he don't fuck with humans. Like he never did, like from the beginning, because he knew they was fuck. He probably first messed with certain individuals, but even then, he didn't even his son. He knew, God knew before he sent his son. Like no matter what, these people will not change. There's so many stories in the Bible repeated. Like God didn't learn his lesson. Why would you bring your son down here to save some people who will still go sin? Like, so that's what I'm saying. I never had got the answers. Like, that's when I realized, hey, don't take this so literal. Just listen, like, get it for his messages and, like, move forward. Don't sit here and try to critique every little thing. Like, especially with the type of, like, mind that I got. Like, so especially when I smoke weed, I'm going to be overthinking a lot of shit that don't even really need to be overthought. But that's just how my mind works, so.
And the Lord said,
I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth,
Well, he did.
both man and beast,
They fucked up
and the
again.
creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them.
Yo, God did start over. Like I'm saying all this, he did. He killed Lot, and he didn't kill Lot, but he killed them people that were dealing with Lot. He killed the people that were dealing with Noah, like flood and everything. Like God been trying to start over, but it kept going bad. Like literally, this he shouldn't have created Earth. But at the same time, like me being a spiritual person, I understand what this is all about. So. I know there is no such thing as hell. You're not going to die and go burn for eternity because you're sinning on this earth. You know what you are going to do? You're going to keep reincarnating until you get it right. That's hell. Coming back here, starting from a. Just imagine you live 90 years old, dealing with pain, sickness, not learning your lessons, repeating the same cycles. Then you reincarnate and got to start right back over. Like until you learn a lesson, you're gonna keep coming back to hell. And then once you evolve out of here mentally, spiritually, you get to go to heaven, which is you don't gotta come back here. So that's what I learned on my journey.
but Noah
Exactly. No,
found
thank you.
grace
I'm
in the
good.
eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. And Noah begat.
So Noah was perfect. We thought Jesus was the first perfect person, but actually Noah was the first perfect. But how did it still go like turn bad? Like if you had a perfect individual, then his seeds should have been perfect. But was Noah's wife perfect? Was the kids that got on the boat with him perfect? Probably not.
3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
But drinking ain't no bad thing though. Like people think like he was a drunk, but God put that on this earth. Like we all got vices. I smoke weed. To the average Christian, that's bad. But at the same time, who is they to judge me when they got their own vices in their life? Some people got gambling problems. Some people got sexual problems. Some people got lying problems. Like me smoking weed, that's minor compared to like when you drink too much, it's bad though too much. True, that's true. But at the same time, we didn't get Noah's perspective on the story. We get somebody on the outside like talking about Noah. Like how we know Noah just drunk a few times and people said he acted crazy. Like you don't know if God in the Bible was like people is exaggerating these stories because today as man, what do? We exaggerate everything to make it sound better. Like we don't tell nothing straight. Like so I understand that and to know like we are the same people that was back then because we keep reincarnating. Like people don't learn their lessons. That's why history always repeats itself. It's not that history do it; it's that man repeats itself. So if you don't study your past, you're deemed to like keep repeating that.
The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked
Exactly.
upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt.
Who perspective is we listening to now? Like who who got this and how you know this is the true perspective? Because as you know, God is spirit. So how you know you ain't been hearing the devil uh, giving you these stories and you thinking it's God? Like so, who says the Satanic Bible is the wrong one? Who says the Quran is the wrong one? Who says what the Buddhism is wrong? Who says Catholicism is wrong? Like who said that any of this is right? So I understand like not to judge nothing, just listen to it and see what they gotta say. Take from it what you can learn from it and move on. Like I don't have to read this month every single day of my life and like live my life guided by this Bible because it's a bunch of books. I mean, it's a bunch of stuff in here that I don't got the answers. Which one is the oldest one? The Emerald Tablets of Thoth is the oldest one. Like that's not a religion, but that it is not a Bible, but that's where everything else was came from. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Like so, I actually and then the Kabbalah is. I can't really give you a time on books and when they was like made, because at the end of the day, all someone else's perspective. It's not my perspective. I can write my own book, and 1,000 years later, it could be considered the Bible, because I'm pretty sure I'm like Jesus. Like Jesus was a woke person. He knew what his mission was, like, and he lived out his purpose. So that's what I'm doing. And I may not be able to walk on water or do some of the things he was able to do, but that's because he had that ultimate faith. Like he wasn't able to be deceived at all, and that's why I truly mess with Jesus. Like, but at first I had my doubts about him because I'm like, this book don't sound right. How is it a perfect man on this planet, but ain't nobody else came along like that? Like, and it's been thousands of years, and it ain't been one person like Jesus that came. But who knows? It might have been.
Had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah,
The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Room shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and in a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in the side thereof. With lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth, to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee.
See, why he ain't just kill off the serpent? You know how the serpent was. He should have let that motherfucker just die with the rest of the humans. But I noticed another thing. God said Noah was perfect, but so how did he end up being judged for having a drinking problem? Like, that didn't just develop overnight. That had to come like from when he was building on that ship, going through those times when people was just laughing at him. Like he needed something to cope with that daily lifestyle. So, hey.
They shall be male and female, of fowls after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. 2 of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive. And take thou unto thee of all food that is eaten,
Exactly.
and thou shalt gather it to thee. And
don't leave nobody. Wipe all of this shit out. Because as you can see, the shit kept fucking up.
it shall be for food for thee and for them.
Thus did Noah, according to all that God commanded him, so did he. Chapter 7. And the Lord said unto Noah,
Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive.
Why is the birds considered fowl? Like I noticed he keeps saying the fowls of the air, like that's the birds, right? Why is that they considered fowl?
On the face of all the earth, for yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth.
And Noah did according unto...
Dang, I can't, what's the year, remember the last thing you heard? Or I don't even know if I missed to say something. Hopefully, when people rewatch it, it don't skip on there, because it's just been going smooth on this. Nah, it don't say it's copyrighted yet. But even if it do, it's probably be copyrighted because of the dramatized version. So I'll have to find one that ain't so dramatized, because this book is the Bible. Like, who got ownership of the Bible? Like, nobody should. Because if the Bible is copyrighted, that means somebody has control over the words that's in this book. So if I get copyrighted, that'll let me know.
all that the Lord had commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him into the ark, because of the water.
If he was 600 when the finally hit, how old was he when he first started building? That's what I want to know.
Of the flood, of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth, there went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days, that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noah, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. They and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased, and bare up the ark. And it was lift up above the earth, and the waters prevailed, and were increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth. And all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl, and of cattle, and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping thing.
I think God low-key wanted to get rid of the giants when he caused this flood. Because why would you cause a flood like for 40 days and 40 nights, something that goes that high? Like, I think he was really trying to get rid of the angels' seeds and like wipe them motherfuckers out because he didn't like that. They probably was ruling the world like and how they wanted to. Exactly. Like how you know Noah's kids ain't fucked up. Like, cause it be your own family that the ones that turn on you, to be the bad ones you ain't supposed to bring with you. Like so. Mm.
And the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from
I
the
ain't
earth.
gonna say I would have did a better job of being God as God, but in the Bible so far, I feel like I can do a better job as like His job, like, and that's just like off like things I would have did that He didn't do. Like I said, I'd have killed that serpent, Adam and Eve, and I'd have started over, and I would have said, okay, this person is going to be perfect. Everything he creates will be perfect as well, and nothing will ever change. But then, what's the point of having that? Having something that never changes, never grows. Like, what's the point of like evolving and being here? Then, like, I mean, that
And
didn't
Noah
happen.
only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. Chapter 8. And God remembered Noah, and every living thing, and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over.
Yo, he forgot about Noah. He said he remembered. God forgot the motherfuckers in the middle of the fucking ocean. Said, oh shit, I did say them people. God damn. What was God doing if he forgot about them? Like what God got going on in his life where he forgot like the only people on earth alive is the ones he told to build that ship. Like that should have been first priority if he taking care of his planet.
The earth, and the waters assuaged.
I bet
The
Noah was like, damn, like, is this end to it? Is this gonna be the rest of my life? The whole time, God on vacation. Forgot about that ass.
fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven
Told
were
you, God don't
stopped,
give a
and the
fuck.
rain from
Like,
heaven was restrained,
he ain't
and the
worried about
waters
what's going
returned from off
on
the
this
earth
planet.
continually. And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated. And the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen.
Ooh, you
And it
going
came
to
to pass at
hell?
the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And he sent forth
Hey,
a
I need to
raven,
make you a
which went
moderator,
forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth.
Tasha.
Also he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of
This
the ground.
motherfucker going to
But
the
the dove
devil.
found the earth, put forth and took her, and pulled her in on him into the ark. And he stayed yet other 7 days. And again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came into him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he stayed yet other 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the 2nd month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried. And God spake unto Noah, saying,
Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons and thy sons' wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with
Hey,
thee,
shout out to you, Brian,
of
for
all
hiding that.
flesh,
Yeah,
both of
sure.
fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful, and multiply upon the earth.
And Noah went forth, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl, and whatsoever creepeth upon the earth, after their kinds, went forth out of the ark. And Noah builded an altar unto the Lord, and took of every clean beast, and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor, and the Lord said in his heart.
So when trolls show up, it's kind of a good thing, because that means you're doing something right. If my channel was not getting some type of traction or getting seen, there would be no trolls. So I'm cool with that shit happening, but at the same time, like, that is kind of fucked up for me to be listening to the Bible. That motherfucker probably came in my life like one time out of all the other 60 lives I did. But when I'm listening to the Bible, you want to come in with that? Like, damn. Like, once again, I'm not a Christian, so like it really don't affect me. But at the same time, that is kind of disrespectful.
I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake. For the imagination of...
Wait, so he's saying he won't curse? He won't. So, men, black people think they curse, but at the same time, he said he won't curse no more. So, did he renege on his word?
Man's heart is evil from his youth.
Hey,
Neither
yeah,
will I
exactly.
again smite any
That
more
other,
every living...
the blow sniffer, he's not really a troll. Like, I think that's somebody personally who knows me, who's hiding. Like, that's not no troll. That is a fucking troll. The next time fucking that blow sniffer come in, I'm gonna make his ass a moderator and see how he react after that shit. Watch, he gonna be different.
As I have done. While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest,
enemies, right?
and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Chapter 9. And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them,
Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you.
So if he's giving Noah this power, why didn't he just make Noah immortal? If Noah was this good, perfect guy, why don't you just make him immortal? Make him a guy like you so he can watch over the land. Since you like to go on vacation as a kid and forget about people, leave somebody else that's in charge, the middleman, something.
Even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh, with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. And at the hand of man.
That's where that sacrifice and stuff comes from. That's why all these these celebrities get sacrificed. Because they're quote-unquote goats. They're meant to be sacrificed to wherever these people who sacrifice them, like, hey, they believe in God. So that's them giving their offering. So I heard that we were immortal until Adam and Eve ate the fruit. We still immortal, my brother. We are still immortal. Reincarnation is immortal. Your flesh will die, but your soul and spirit will always return. It will always live on. Like, so yeah, you are immortal. You just can't live this life forever. And why would you want to? Especially when this life we live today. Man, it's a World War III going on. Like, who wants to live through World War 44? Like, and all the other shit that comes on, like sickness. Nobody wants to live a life forever. I mean, unless you was a vampire and you wasn't fazed by none of that. But still, you wouldn't be able to come out to the sun. But you could have the ring, or you could be like Blade. Like, that's some supernatural shit. Who says vampires ain't real? Low key, I know this ain't got nothing to do with the Bible right now, but who's saying that stuff ain't real? Where'd it come from? Was it just somebody's imagination that created it? But where I believe all things like has some type of truth in it. So, is there really vampires in this motherfucker that they just hiding and concealing it so they don't want the world to be afraid? Like, so why do they got all these vampire movies? Why they got all these zombie movies? Like, why do they keep repeating the same thing, putting the same things in front of us? Like, some things I think about in the day.
At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. And you, be ye fruitful and multiply. Bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein.
You supposed
And
to
God
have a
spake
bunch
unto
of
Noah
kids.
and to his sons with him, saying,
And behold, I establish my covenant with you, and
You
with your
supposed
seed
to have a
after
bunch
you,
of kids.
and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark, to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood. Neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth.
See,
And
that's
God
the
said,
whole thing. That's the thing. He said he wasn't going to destroy it with a flood, but next time I said it was going to be fire. So I'm like, man, you just see, God ain't really direct in his word. Like, he's not exact in his word. I mean, he mean what he say, but at the same time, like, he leave out a lot of details. All right, so when you leave out a lot of details and you leave it open, people are going to make mistakes and do the wrong thing because you wasn't exact on what you said. So he definitely didn't tell them that he was gonna burn this bitch up. But I'm pretty sure he said that later in the Bible. What, in Revelations or something?
This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you, and every living creature
Yeah,
that
him
is
and
with
Noah,
you
and
for
not with
perpetual
everybody else.
generations.
He gave
I
them
do
like
set
that.
my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of
He be
all
forgetting
flesh.
stuff though.
And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all
It's
flesh.
just like me, I'll be
And
forgetting
the bow
shit.
shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth.
And God said unto Noah,
This is the token of the covenant, which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth.
And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem, and Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine and was drunken. And he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment, and laid it upon both their shoulders, and went backward, and covered the nakedness of their
Once
father.
again,
And their faces were backward. And
why are you talking about this? Who decided to tell this story? What made this section in the Bible make the cut? Out of all the shit that happened within the world in its history, why this one time Noah get drunk on wine, get naked, they all make a big deal. This got to be recorded forever. Like, that's messed up. Fucked up. It shows you that one time you slip, they're going to be able to record that shit forever.
they saw not their father's nakedness.
Yes, you
And
did.
Noah
Stop
awoke
lying.
from his wine, and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said,
Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren.
He cursed his son for... What the fuck? Bruh. These niggas got some big-ass egos. Like, feelings easily hurt. Like, bruh, he fucking stumbled across you butt-ass naked. What the fuck you want me to do? Just leave you there? Like, I mean, I guess that what he wanted. I don't know.
and he said,
Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall
Wait,
be
is he
his
blessing
servant.
them?
And Noah lived after the flood 350
I don't know.
years. And all the days
I
of
might have heard
Noah
that
were
wrong.
950 years.
But it said it
And
sounded
he
like he made
died.
him a servant of servant. Like,
Chapter
ain't no-
10. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz,
Yeah,
and
he was
Riphath,
600
and
when the
Togarmah.
flood
And the sons
stopped,
of Javan,
so that's
Elisha,
950
and
years
Tarshish,
old.
Kittim, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their
But
families
how
and their
long?
nations.
Okay, it's saying they lived 950 years, but how many months was it in a year? Like, did they have the whole 12 months? Or is we going off based off that calendar? Like, who's to say? Like, they didn't have like 8-month years or 5-month years. I used to always just think this as a kid, so I don't know. The Bible should have explained all of that to me. That's what I'm like. Exactly. Like, this motherfucker got shortened for black people, for like men at least 20, 30, 40. You ain't seeing too many black men live that long. Like, my dad died at 33, same age as Jesus. Nipsey Hussle died at 33. Like, shit, I'm 31. Shit, so if I make it past 33, which I know I probably will, because I'm on a righteousness path. Like, shit, if I stick to this I see why Kanye went back to church, and he didn't go back to church. That's the crazy part about it. Like we was talking about earlier in my other live. Kanye created his own church. He got his own stuff. Like, so it's not like he went back into religion and went back into somebody else's church where he was listening to them speak. He created his own thing. I might need to create my own church where, hey, I speak my truth, not just my truth, but the truth of like the real truth. A lot of this shit is not to be taken literal, like not to call the Bible shit, but a lot of the things it's a lot of BS in this Bible already. What I didn't heard so far. What if I had my choice of gods right now and I can listen to any book and choose which God I would want to have as my creator, it wouldn't be the one in this book. Like, that's just me being totally honest, not trying to say he a bad guy, anything, but just what I'm reading, listening to. Kanye is definitely very intelligent, tapped in on a whole nother level.
And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, and Phut and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba and Havilah, and Sabta and Reumah and
But to
Sabteka.
also know, like to understand, like Adam and Eve, Noah, all of them is black people and they fucking up. No wonder is white people in charge of this motherfucker. Because black people have been hard-headed, been drunkards, been fucking rapists, been all other type of negative type of shit that made God say, fuck this, I want to destroy you motherfuckers. Like, so I understand why fucking the world is how it is today. Like, even though this world is still fucked up, so it's about, I ain't gonna say all white people need to, like, suffer like we suffer, but the ones who did the damage and the fucked upness, like, oh yeah, karma is coming back. Nobody escapes this shit. That's why he cut the lifespan down, because he was like, if y'all was living forever, y'all would be like ruling for hundreds and thousands of years. So I guess sometimes it's hard to listen to others when you're always just exactly like, it's definitely hard. Like, so that's why I listen to Kanye West, because I feel like he's on another, he got a higher level than me. He already reached $1 billion. Like, so I know, like, even though I'm like spiritually enlightened, like there's still levels to it, and like I'm just on one of those levels. So I'm just trying to evolve. I ain't saying I'm trying to be like Kanye, because I'm not. I'm trying to be like me, and I'm just trying to get to that spiritual level where Kanye is at. Like, so I don't want to think the thoughts he think. I don't want to do the things he's done. I want to just, I see he tapped in.
And the sons of Reumah, Sheba and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel and Everic and Akkad and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur and builded Nineveh and the city Rehoboth and Calah, and Resen between Nineveh and Calah. The same is a great city. And Mizraim begat Ludim, and Anamim, and Lehabim, and Naphtahim, and Pathrusim, and Cashlahim, out of whom came Philistim and Caphtorim. And Canaan begat Sidon his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom, and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. And the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. And Arphaxad begat Selah, and Selah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided. And his brother's name was Joktan. And Joktan begat Almodad, and Sheleph, and Hazarmaveth, and Jerah, and Hadoram, and Uzal, and Diklah, and Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba, and Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan, and their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest unto Sephir, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations, in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Chapter 11. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another,
Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly.
And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said,
Go to, let us build a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said,
Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not
Yo, God seen these men evolving spiritually and said, let me fuck up their language so they don't understand each other. Wow, God don't want people to be woke. Do you see that? Like what I've learned just in Genesis, he don't want people to be spiritually evolved. Like, cause then they're gonna try to get to his level. He don't want mankind to evolve to his level. Like, so he don't want them to make mistakes. He don't want them to work together. He want them to be divided. He want them to be separated. How is it we all under one language, working together, trying to evolve spiritually? Yeah, you come down, see what we got going on, and say, I'm gonna fuck this up. Cause I don't want them next to me. I don't want them where I'm at. That sounds like the CEO of a company who got people working for him. Like, oh, I see these people working hard, getting promoted. Oh, I see them trying to take my spot. Let me just fire their ass. Like, man, like what I'm learning from the Bible so right now is like showing me I don't need to be a Christian. Like, this book is good because I'm learning, but I never like read the Bible and got this understanding I'm getting right now. I never thought the exact single thoughts. Like some of the thoughts I had before and I was able to just recall them, but some of these thoughts that I'm having as I'm listening to this book, it's like, oh my gosh, God really didn't want people to be woke. How is, like, really? How is it that mankind is working all together in unison, trying to build their way to heaven, and you say, I'm gonna come down here? You're like, yeah, this is nice and all, but nah. Destruction, confusion. Like, that's why black people don't get along with people. That's why white people, like, all these races don't get along, because it was at one time where we all worked together, and God didn't like that. He wanted, literally, he wanted, after he created Noah, and after Noah died, and he seen like everything was still going good, he still had to come in and like Say, nah. Jenga, crash all this motherfucking shit down. Like, so, I ain't gonna lie, God is a gangster. Because at the same time, he is the creator. Like, this is his game. This is his world. He could do whatever the fuck he want, honestly. Like, but at the same time, like, is that the God that created me? Is that the one I'm supposed to follow? My spirit don't resonate with that. Like, my soul don't resonate with that. And I'm good. Like I'm glad my ancestor is here tonight in attendance with me, because my Gigi used to always want me to read the Bible. Like, and since I'm super spiritual, I didn't like. It was for years I didn't pick up a Bible at all. Like, so he controls time. He controls everything. He controls good, bad. I mean, but no, time is not controlled. Like, time is an illusion. All this shit is an illusion. Like, everything is not what it really seems it is. Like, so there's multiple gods out there. Literally, the God that we're listening to, that's not the only God there is. Like, simple as that. It's more than one God. He the one who just created heaven and earth and the stars. It didn't say he created the other planets. It didn't say he created extraterrestrials and aliens. It said he created humans, heaven and earth, and that's what he's in dominion over. Like, so who's to say who else controls the rest of the fucking universe? Because it's so like the universe is unlimited. Like, so I feel like the God in this Bible is limited. He gets jealous, he gets angry, he gets mad, he has a big ego. Like, the the creator of all of this wouldn't have that type. Is not like that. I'm pretty sure, like, the universal intelligence doesn't give a fuck about you evolving spiritually. It wants you to evolve there. It wants you to get up to those levels. But it's a God that created this realm, this 3D realm, and he's like, nah, I want you not to get there. So anything I can do, why you think all the spirituals get taken out? Why you think all the woke ones get taken out? Because as you climb and evolve spiritually, there comes God saying, nope, you're growing too much. Let me fuck all this shit up. Like, so. It's crazy, but at the same time, hey, we're going to listen to the Quran too. So I want to hear it. Like, Tasha, I see you be championing that one. So I'm going to hear what that one got to say. I never really read that one back to front. I mean, front to back. I probably read a couple quotes, a couple pages, but I've read the Bible so many times, like, just from me growing up. So, like, I don't have no type of input on what the Quran says. Like, I don't know what it's going to say, so I don't have no type of prejudgment. I already had my judgments on the Bible just off the years of me, like, being acquainted with it and just reading it over time. Like, so I got a lot of stuff that's been on my mind that I've been ready to say. So I'm trying to do it in the best way so people don't think I'm disrespecting their beliefs in, like, the Bible. But at the same time, I am a man and I have thoughts just like everybody else have thoughts. And I'm pretty sure they've seen things in the Bible that didn't make sense to them. They were just afraid to say their thoughts, to speak their mind. They just like, oh, Papa just took, that's the creator. Let me just whoop-de-doo, follow orders. Like me, I'm pretty sure God would have destroyed me, because I would have like, hey, let me evolve spiritually. Let me grow. Let me get to my creator's level. Like, so I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have liked me. So, is that my creator? I don't think so. I think I was created by another source, a source that's way higher, like, that doesn't have ego problems. So, I'm probably on the same level as the God that created this, because I do get sometimes jealous. I do, like, sometimes have an ego, and so I feel like, hey, like I said, I would have fucked up. I would have destroyed this mankind too. So I'm more like God in, like, what I sing, because there's things about myself that's not, like, not the best thing. Like, so, like, he could destroy the world, I would have destroyed mankind too. But the creator of all, the one who, like, it's not even no man. It's not no, like, with this guy going on. It's a so universal source, like, all. Like, look, you can't even explain it. It's just there. It's all. This guy right here is, like, kind of got a limit, because the things and what he's doing and how he's reacting, he's forgetting. He's forgetful. How is the God creator all forgetful? Like that doesn't make sense. So that lets me know he's kind of like me. Like shit, this Bible might be talking about me. I might be God, and I came down and played my part as a man to get that experience because I was a jackass. But I ain't gonna be that egotistical and say I'm the creator of all because I know I'm not. So, but at the same time, I feel like God is just like me. Cause like I said, I would have fucked this shit up. Once Adam and Eve fucked up, I was like, I gotta destroy y'all ass from right there. You ain't even gonna be able to have Cain and Abel, cause I already know your seeds is gonna turn out fucked up just like y'all. Like so, that's not good. That's not positive. Like yeah, I should have just let him go. Like shit, let them experience life, good and bad, and just whatever they do with that free will, really free will. But I wouldn't interrupt it. I would. Now I'm saying I wouldn't do nothing. See, nah, I said I already fucked it. I already fucked up. I already said I would destroy them. So, but the evolve now, I learned my lesson on just what I heard. Now I'm like, okay, it's not good to destroy them. You should just let them grow and evolve. Like no matter what they do wrong, let them learn their lessons. Yes, you got karma. Yes, like, but let them be able to get it right. And if they don't get it right, hey, you already created. Go create something new where you know it ain't gonna mess up. Go create another Earth. Like, don't just worry about this. That's why he was forgetting, because he knew this Earth was so bad. He like, I already got something else in creation. Well, this one is going right. So it's taking my attention from this fucked up shit over here. So, hey.
Stand one another's speech.
So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
You got a question?
These are the generations of Shem.
Right.
Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 35 years and begat Salah. And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years and begat sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber. And Salah lived after he begat Eber 403.
I'm 100% sure, y'all. When people come to this live afterwards, when they click on it, because they're going to see the Bible, so they're going to think I'm a super religious person who's listening to the Bible. But when they start hearing me talk, I'm like, who the fuck did I just click on? Like, this is not what I expected. And I'm just that type of person. Like, you don't expect me what you thought you was.
And begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 34 years and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begat Reu. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years and begat sons and daughters. And Reu lived 32 years and begat Serug. And Reu lived after he begat Serug 207 years and begat sons and daughters. And Serug lived 30 years and begat Nahor. And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot.
When I hear it saying like
died.
certain names, like it's saying begat, I'm pretty sure like they was having multiple siblings. So why is it saying certain names? Like, is it one chosen one out of every like generation of kids? Like, can it not be two? Because as you seen with Cain and Abel, when there was two, like one killed the other. Like
before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. But Sarai was barren, she had no child. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran, and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Chapter 12. Now the Lord had said unto Abram,
Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sichem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said,
Unto thy seed will I give this land.
And there builded he an altar unto the Lord, who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord. And Abram journeyed going on still toward the south. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife,
Behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister,
Wait.
that it may be well with...
How he know the Egyptians is gonna be like that? Like, what, off the back, the perspective that I got on the Egyptians, I was listening to the Bible, like they some evil ass people. Like, and throughout the whole, I ain't gonna say the whole Bible, but every time the Egyptians is mentioned, is on activity. And to know I got past lives in Egypt, like, I get a bad feeling from my God, because I'm like, y'all ain't giving the perspective of the Egyptians. Like, you only getting the perspective of this God. So,
me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee.
And it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman that she was very fair. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen, and he-asses, and men-servants, and maidservants, and she-asses, and camels. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues, because of Sarai Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said,
What is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why saidst thou, She is my sister? So I might have taken her to me to wife. Now, therefore, behold thy wife.
this nigga Lot lying, saying that's his sister, thinking he gonna get killed. Yet he's still in the trying to save his life. Yet God trying to destroy the motherfucking Egypt, the Pharaoh, because he thought it was his sister. She looked good. You could tell God got, like, he don't like the Egyptians, because he hardened Pharaoh's heart. You gonna hear about that in the story too. I'm gonna have my whole side on that too. So
take her and go thy way.
And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away.
But if Lot didn't do that and they really did kill him, then he wouldn't have been able to, like, get away from that. Like, knowing, like, Pharaoh knowing he got sick because that was his wife, and he didn't want to touch Lot after that. He said, hey, go about your way. But at the same time, what that would have happened with Lot had said at first.
Wife and all that he had. Chapter 13. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, and silver, and in gold.
Not a lot.
And he went on his journeys from the south, even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot,
Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left.
And Lot lifted up his eyes, and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him,
Lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art, northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it, and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee.
Then Abram removed his tent, and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. Chapter 14. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Birsha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the salt sea. 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Kedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzims in Ham, and the Emims in Sheba-Kiriathaim, the Amorites in their Mount Seir, unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En-Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwell in Hazazon-Tamar. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same is Zoar. And they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim, with Kedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner. And these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Sheva, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said,
Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand.
And he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram,
Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself.
And Abram said to the king of Sodom,
I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion.
Chapter 15. After these things the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying,
Fear not, Abram. I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward.
And Abram said,
Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus?
And Abram said,
Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir.
And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying,
This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
And he brought him forth abroad, and said,
Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars if thou be able to number them.
And he said unto him,
So shall thy seed be.
And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him,
I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it.
And he said,
Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it?
And he said unto him,
Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon.
And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram,
Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come.
You know what I realized? The why God tests like the humans to see if they was gonna pass or not, and if they had to pass, if Adam and Eve had to pass that first test, I'm pretty sure they would have got a chance to evolve to another level. God would have let them go to another level, but they failed, so He cursed them. He didn't even let them get another chance at that test to see if they was gonna pass it that second time. Like, so it's kind of messed up, but at the same time, this is His creation. He can do whatever He pleases. So who am I to say that he's wrong for how he's been operating? Like, this is his game. And best believe he ain't playing his own game.
With great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
And it came to pass that when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying,
Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites, and the Kenizzites, and the Cadmonites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites,
God
and the
was giving them
Rephaims,
land.
and the...
Like, He was giving them land, but at the end of the day, when you die and you pass away, what does that land, what's the meaning of that land? Like, it's nothing. Can you take that with you? Like, why God wasn't promising them, like, things that really matter, like immortality. Like, you get to sit here with me. Like, I don't know. Because the devil be offering the same things too. And it seemed like how God gets, like, God be destroying and killing people, and like, so far the devil haven't killed nobody yet. And the serpent, if we gonna consider that the devil, yes, he may have quote unquote deceived somebody, but he ain't been destroying mankind like God have. Like, so at the end of the day, like, I ain't gonna sit here and say the devil ain't no bad person, but if this was a movie, who would be the bad guy? Like, honestly, if we was watching a movie and so far, like, is how many people done died already? Who do you consider the bad person? The one who like deceived Adam and Eve, or the person like that's just been killing everything and everybody?
Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgashites, and the Jebusites.
Chapter 16. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him
I
no
ain't gonna make
children,
y'all say
and she
God
had an
is a bad
handmaid,
person.
an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar.
I
And
know
Sarai
that ain't nobody gonna come in. I ain't about to say God bad. Like, I ain't about to say he evil. I ain't about to go to hell. I ain't gonna make y'all say it, but at the same time, I know what y'all like internally, like what y'all think. Like, yeah, he is kind of right. But at the same time, when you either evolve to the level of thinking that I am, like, you'll understand there is no repercussions for me having these thoughts. Like, for me questioning, like, this book is meant to be questioned. That's how you know you're ready for the next level. If you're somebody who just take everything for word, like, then you're not ready to go to the next level. So it was only a test meant for me to like walk away from church, walk away from the Bible, get my own understanding, come back to where I'm able to listen to the Bible and then interpret and decode what it really means. Like, so this book is really meant, like, it is the good book, but at the same time, like, it's meant to mislead you to see if you will learn your own lessons. Like, because you're not going to just learn a lesson from reading a book. That's not going to get you to heaven because you read the Bible every Sunday. Like, you'll be in hell compared. Like, if you gonna go off your beliefs and what you believe as far as religion, like most people, Christians that go to church every Sunday are going to hell. Like, it's just that simple of a fact, because 90% of this world, they don't live their purpose. They just living their life on autopilot, working a 9 to 5 job, like taking care of their kids, and like not having no type of sort of mission, not having no sort of type of why about their life. Like, they don't know why they on this planet at all. Like, so that's a sin right there. It ain't about killing people, robbing, stealing. Like, that shit is minor. You not living your purpose. You come in here just following and being programmed by fucking the outsiders or the quote unquote elites. Like, that's the sin. Not waking up, that's a sin. Like, so I got my understanding, like, so far, like Genesis, even though I've been criticizing it a lot, that's just for y'all guys, like, to understand, like, you supposed to question this. Like, you're not just supposed to say, oh, this the right thing.
said unto Abram,
Behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may
You the only
obtain
person
children
commenting,
by
Tasha.
her.
Everybody
And
else
Abram
like,
hearkened to the voice of
this still
Sarai.
ain't coming
And
from me.
Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan,
Yo, they took
and
them
gave
an
her to her
Egyptian girl.
husband Abram.
Literally, they took them, they got them an Egyptian girl. Do you see how polygamy is not a bad thing? Like, literally, from, if I'm gonna go, if I'm gonna be a Christian, I could be a Christian and say polygamy is right because it's been going on throughout the Bible the whole time. Like, is that not like a valid reason? Like, because my beliefs, as in God said it's okay. Like, I'm not to say that's the right way, but still, a lot of the prominent men in the Bible got multiple women. Even Jesus had hoes around him. Like, he probably wasn't messing with them or fucking with them like that, but he had them around him. He was getting that, gaining that energy from pause and speak instead of talking over the. Exactly, because I understand. Like, I'll be trying to hear too. Like, I'll be trying to listen to the book too. So I don't want to be rude and just talk over the book, because then I'm gonna miss something. I'm gonna miss out. So I know it probably get irritating when I just keep pausing and stuff. But at the same time, when I be interviewing people, Like I be telling them like, yeah, you can say like break talk, and then they'll say something and it'll trigger something in my head, and it'll make me say it right out. So I have to interrupt them. And I'm like, man, I don't want to keep doing it. I don't be meaning to do it, but every time I hear something and a thought triggers, I gotta say it because I will forget it. And I'm not about to sit here and write all my thoughts down. Like, fuck that shit. We got, man, I got 66 books, so I'm gonna be here for a minute, like shit, doing these Bibles. So, and for the fact that so far this live hasn't got copyrighted, like that's a positive thing. Like, so we got more, actually 67, because we're gonna listen to the Book of Enoch too. So, and that's not the only missing book of the Bible. There's other books too that we can tap into. Like, if I can find them. I understand that's how I am. Exactly, like I'm super forgetful. Like if I don't say it right now, that shit will be a gone thought. Like gone idea. I done lost many ideas because I done forgot about them. And I'd be like trying to think like, damn, what was I doing? Like to make me remember that thought, and that must have been gone. Like, so gotta say it.
His wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram,
My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between me and thee.
But Abram said unto Sarai,
Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee.
And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she
Yo, that's fucked up, Sarah. First, you gonna give this Egyptian woman to your husband, and once he get her pregnant, you get jealous and you go to your husband and say, I'm not happy. And he say, hey, do as you please, and you fucking probably beat her ass. Like, what the fuck? What's the whole point in that? Like, why you give... Bruh, I ain't gonna say Sarah ain't shit, but she ain't shit, honestly.
fled from her face. And the angel of the Lord found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And he said,
Exactly.
Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence camest thou, and whither wilt thou go?
And she said,
I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her,
Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands.
And the angel of the Lord said unto her,
Why is God telling the maid to go back to the one who just beat her ass? Like, do y'all what do y'all think about it? Like, honest opinion. Sarah gave this girl to her husband so he can get her pregnant so they can have a child. She gets jealous that the girl gets pregnant, beat her ass. Then the girl takes off. God comes strolling around, seeing her crying, seeing her traumatized from the situation she just went through, and say, hey, you go back. But let's see what is going to happen after she go back. Like, so let me not prejudge. It may be some type of blessing in disguise.
I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
And the angel of the Lord,
multiplying, first of all, having kids, you already curse women to have kids. So why are you trying to make them have multiple kids? Like, yeah, it's not nothing I like. I wouldn't have did that. I'd have said, hey, if that happens to you, like, go on about your business. Like, you shouldn't be around. Take your child, y'all can be successful. Like, you don't have to just take that. I told her, beat her ass back. Like, shit, throw them hands too. Don't just let nobody put their hands on you because they jealous. Nah.
said unto her,
Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him.
Exactly.
And he shall dwell in the
God
prison.
didn't even punish Sarah for what she did to her. And he the one who, like, orchestrated it all. Like, he was the puppet master. Like, he the one who pulling strings. He knew this was going to happen. But got all the power in the world and, like, didn't do nothing to Sarah. Like, just told her to go back. Man.
of all his brethren.
And she called the name of the Lord that spake unto her.
Thou God seest me.
For she said,
Have I also here looked after him that seeth me?
Wherefore the well was called Beer Lahairoi. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. Chapter 17. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him,
I am the Almighty God. Walk before me, and be...
Wait, why is God coming to him if Abraham already know who God is? Why you gotta like say, hey, I'm God? Like, I don't know, that's another thing.
Now perfect, and I will make my covenant
Should
between
already
me
know.
and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly.
And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying,
As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and
You're
I
not
will
gonna
make
see it,
nations
though.
of
Like,
thee,
what do he gain
and
from
kings shall
this?
come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God.
And God said unto Abraham,
Thou shalt keep my covenant therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man-child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you.
What that got to do with anything? Like, what that got to do with anything? To see if you gonna like, is he gonna do it? But why I gotta like do that? We talking about thousands of years ago. Like, they ain't got no surgery tools where they can just numb their shit. Like, nah. Like, what the fuck?
Every man-child in your generations, he that is born in the house, or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed, he that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your
And the
flesh
slaves
for an
gotta be
everlasting
circumcised.
covenant. And the uncircumcised man-child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant.
And God said unto Abraham,
As for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her.
Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart,
Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear?
And Abraham said unto God,
Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee.
And God said,
Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
And he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, Every
Like
male
you can listen. Reading the Bible is literally, you know, this is just a story. This shit, I don't believe this really happened in real life. Just, I don't know. This sounds like a story, and that's why you shouldn't take it so serious. I mean, not serious, but that's why you shouldn't take it so little, as in like everything happened as they said it did in the Bible. Because this mug has been around how many years, and how many times have it been translated, and how many times have it been rewritten, and like you don't know who put what in there to make it benefit what they had going on. So we listening to this tonight to like just get a different understanding, look at it from a different perspective. Like, and once again, I ain't trying to judge or make somebody feel bad about what they believe in. I'm just getting my own understanding. Like I still got questions. Like, so I'll be asking a lot of those questions, and I don't expect them to get answered, but I'm gonna be like saying some things that you may be like, wait, what? You said that? Like, so we're gonna get to like do 3 more minutes of this book, and then I'm gonna stop it for tonight because we did like finish up the other book. So that's like 3 hours worth of content or live streaming. So hey, so far, honestly, as a book, and that's what I'm gonna do it. That's what I'm gonna stop doing. I'm gonna treat it as it's a fantasy book, so I shouldn't take everything like literal. Like I'm not gonna judge everything and say, oh, that's like it ain't gonna happen. But I'm gonna just treat it as if I'm reading Greek mythology. I'm reading about Zeus, Hercules, and all that. Like so, that's the perspective I'm gonna take while listening to this book. Exactly, it's super hard not to like, cause everybody like believes this is like the truth, like the quote unquote like. But I'm gonna take it as it's a mythology. Like that's what I'm gonna try to do. Like, but if you catch me, like snapping off on something, just to remind me, is look at it as Christian mythology, something.
the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the self same day, as God had said unto him. And
But that's the
Abraham,
whole thing. I'm circumcised, so to like this just his fantasy affected me like super real. Like, why did I have to get circumcised? Because it was in his book, and like that's what my parents believed is true. So it impacted me more than just being a book and fairy tale. Because as you can see, it controls people's lives literally. So what I have to say has to be said. I can't just I don't know. I'm gonna try, but we're gonna see how to. At 66, 67 books, I'm going with the Book of Enoch. Like, you know, It's gonna be a different me from the beginning now to the end of this. I'm gonna have a different shift in mindset. I'm gonna be thinking different. I'm gonna have gained a better perspective on the Bible and just everything that's in it. So, this is just the beginning. Like, so ain't no telling how many days this is gonna take, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna take more than a month. So, hey, let me get to the like just the end of today without pausing it again.
was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the self same day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son. And all the men of his house, born in the house and bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him. Chapter 18.
Man, who was doing the circumcising? How they know what to circumcise? How did they know? My bad, yo. But how did they know what you do to do as a circumcised? Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, why make them go through that pain just to show, like, they with you? Like, I don't know. Cause me being, I mean, he was 90 years old, 99 when this happened. I'm pretty sure his dick don't work no more, so it ain't as painful. But 13 years old, once again, if I was 20, I was like, nah, I'm kind of good because I don't want to go through that pain. Like, I don't know. But if God told me personally, if I had that conversation with God, I'd be like, okay, maybe. But if somebody came and said, hey, you need to chop this off your dick, and then like to show like you with us, then I'm like, yeah, I'm good on that. Did I miss something with the circumcision done because they did something? No, it wasn't. It was so that like for a covenant, like to show you with us. Like, it wasn't nothing bad they did. That's the great. Yeah, that's. I'm like, why have that? Like, what you got to do that for? Once again, I'm not gonna be able to just treat this as a mythology, because if this was a mythology, I'd be asking those same questions. Like, why y'all ain't make this to where it makes sense? Because it don't make sense right now. Like, you don't go into detail why they got to do that.
And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day.
Why
And he
God
lifted up his
don't show up?
eyes and looked,
My
and lo,
bad,
3
y'all. Why God don't show up today like he did back then? Like, why don't he make his presence known like he told Abraham, hey, I'm God, I'm the Almighty, I'm here. And like they had a conversation. Why haven't he came back? I know I'm positive. I know I should at least get some type of like have a conversation with him in person. Like for real. Like so that's I will always have these questions like why haven't Jesus returned? Because they will always say my Gigi will always say Jesus gonna come back, but whole time when they say he's gonna return, how do we know they not talking about reincarnation? And we know with reincarnation, when you reincarnate, you're not gonna have the same name, and you're not gonna be in the same place, and you're not gonna look the same. Like so, how do we know Jesus haven't reincarnated? They just didn't kill him, like or like you never know if uh, what's his name, Elijah Muhammad, is that his name? I don't want to get it wrong, but how you know he wasn't the reincarnation of Jesus? How you know Horus wasn't the beginning of Jesus? Like I said, that predated the Bible 25,000 years. That story, like so, how do we know Jesus ain't keep reincarnating into like these same people, like just giving a different message? You don't.
and stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door, and bowed himself toward the ground, and said,
My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on. For therefore are ye come to your...
So you telling me God has flesh? Like, is that what I'm getting? Follow the question, and you'll find an answer. That's true story. That's a true story. But you telling me like God has flesh, like in this moment, because Abraham is trying to go wash his feet. Like so, if he has flesh, then that means he's not the universal creator, because the universal creator would never come down in flesh. The creator would not play its own game. Like that's a fact. If I was to create a game like Grand Theft Auto, do you think I would play it? Because I know how it ends. I know how everything. I know the cheat code. Daylight was saying that in the video earlier. He like, how could, why would the creator play the game when you know the cheat code? You know everything. Like so, I don't think the God of this Bible is the universal creator of all, because it never said he created the other planets. It never said he created aliens and extraterrestrials. And that stuff is real. Like so, if you was to create if you was the creator of all, like this Bible should be way longer. It should be way more direct. Like it should be like way more detailed. It shouldn't have a lot of open stuff like that. Should make people question it. But like I said, I understand why it does that, so people can go out and get their own understanding. Most people who are born into a religion, they never step out of religion to go find their own like understanding. They don't know if it's real or not. They don't know that the beliefs that their parents gave them is the right beliefs or not. There is over like how many religions? Like it's over it's thousands of religions. Like I don't know the exact number, but it's thousands of different religions. So how do you know the one that you're in is the right one? Like so, I would rather just go read these different books of different religions and see which one sounds best. But still, I'm not gonna join it, like, cause I just want your knowledge. I just want your information. See what can help me on my journey. So there's things in the Bible that helps me on my journey, even though I'm not a Christian or a Catholic or a religious period. I'll still read this mug. I'll still listen to it because the entry is like a movie. Like, plus, I'm a person who, if I hear something or it make me think something, I'm gonna say it. So, like I said, I may say a lot of controversial things during this series, but it's not to like talk down on religion, on the Bible, or anything. Anything. It's just this is what's being sparked in my mental. So, we got less than 2 minutes to play. So.
Perfect. And they said, So do, as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said,
Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth.
And Abraham ran unto the herd and fetched a calf good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him,
Where is Sarah, thy wife?
And he said,
Behold, in the tent.
And he said,
I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life, and lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son.
And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying,
After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord, being old also?
And the Lord said unto Abraham,
Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I of a surety bear a child which am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed, I will return unto thee, according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son.
Then Sarah denied, saying,
I laughed not.
For she was afraid. And he
Mine and Sarah is deceitful. First, she gonna beat the girl she gave to her husband because she got pregnant, and then she gonna say, "I wasn't laughing." Why you lying, Sarah? Why you so jealous? Why you act like that? Like, why you don't have faith in God? Dang, that was we made it to the hour mark, and like to understand who Sarah is, like, but why is she like that? I never named my kids Sarah. Now every time I meet a Sarah, I'm gonna think back to this one, like shiesty ass bitch. But who am I? I'm not judging her. This is just a character in the book. This is not a real person. And if it is a real person, like shame on her. Like, but she probably still reincarnating and acting like how she was in her past life. So, hey, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It was dope for y'all to come through. This is, like I said, the beginning of the Bible series in the book club. So we will see where this takes us in life, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a positive route. So thank you guys for just continuing to show up every night. Peace. Love you guys. We out.